Hello, thank you for joining me. So in this video I'd like to show you a little bit about some sketch elements, some symbols involved in regard to sketch relations, and more specifically line colors associated with lines that you're going to be drawing in the sketch format. So what we have here is a sketch. It's almost fully defined. Most of it's black, some of it's blue, and of course a blue line means, that's a test question, blue line means it's not fully defined, which means it has some flexibility, has the ability to move around. A black line can't. A black arc can't. Anything that's black is fully defined and cannot move. So to demonstrate that, you can see these blue lines up here for this little tab that's going on top of this lever arm, and it does have the ability to move. It's got a coincident relationship with this arc down here, so it's moving along that arc. And when it gets to the very end of that arc down there on both sides, it doesn't go any further than that. So it is somewhat constrained, but not fully constrained. We want to make sure that that's black. So blue lines means it's underdefined, black lines mean it's fully defined. There's another line type, and that is an orange line, and we'll get into that here in just a moment. But let's go ahead and fully define this a little bit better. We're going to draw a circle. I'm going to draw a circle ultimately that's going to be the same size as this circle up here, so I'm going to make those equal. But you notice that when I'm in the middle of drawing something, whether it's a line, a circle, an arc, or some other element that you'll see up here in your command manager, that if you click on another line, if you just hover your mouse over, I'm sorry, didn't mean to say click, but if you hover your mouse over another line or another sketch entity, that line will turn orange. Know what that color means. It means it's pre-selected, which means if we click on that right now with our left mouse button, it'll do a center circle from that line, so it'll establish that relationship right in the middle of that line. And you notice as soon as I snap that, we have a sketch relationship now which says it's coincident. And here's another line color. If we click on a sketch relation, now we have a pink line. A pink line means that it's showing us the relationship. You'll notice that the center of that circle is the cross, which represents the center of that circle, is pink, and that line is pink, and that's going to be consistent with some of the other elements. So if we go to this concentric sketch relationship over here, it will tell us that this line here, this arc over here, is concentric with this arc. Let's try another one, horizontal, or a vertical line. This is a vertical sketch relation. If we click on that, it tells us what, and it's only one element here instead of two, it just tells us that that line is vertical. It means that that sketch relation is associated with that line over there. And one more, tangent. It should tell us that with this tangency over here, this tangent sketch relation, that this arc over here and this line will be tangent to each other, so both of those are going to be pink. So let's go ahead and take this circle and let's move that into the center over here. So I'm going to take the sketch relation and I'm going to delete it. Take the center of the circle and move it over here. Now let's take that circle, the center of that circle, and the center of this circle down here, we're going to make that vertical. So if we go over here to our Properties Manager, you notice the Properties Manager tab down here is highlighted. We're going to go to Vertical, and we'll put that circle right on top of that one. Again, click in the circle, click in this circle. We're going to make those equal to each other. You might find that convenient, so all we have to do is define this circle down here and make these two circles equal, and then we don't have to dimension this circle up here. So now that that circle is almost defined down here, probably want to get a dimension between this circle and that circle. We'll make that some sort of whole unit, like maybe 3.375. That defines that a little bit better. Now let's go ahead and put a distance between that circle and that line. And perhaps a half an inch, 0.5. You'll notice that as soon as we did that, all these lines associated with this extra body up here gets shifted over too. And if we go ahead and rebuild this, in fact we don't have to rebuild it, it already knows that that sketch is fully defined. We're as right as rain on this thing. One more thing to mention. You could put a line in here, but maybe you want to do a line out from that point over here. Notice that the line is almost fully defined. A couple different things about that line. You notice that that line is a much thinner line than these other lines. These other lines are going to be associated with some sort of body in here, maybe multiple bodies, because we have different lines and their, various contours in here that we could define some sort of extrude to, and we'll cover that in a different video. But this line over here is a little bit thinner line, which means it doesn't have enclosed geometry associated with it, It's just kind of dangling out there. So the SolidWorks gives you a visual indication that that line is, perhaps needs to be finished or defined a little bit better. But something else about this line over here, you notice that we have a blue dot over here. That dot gives us the ability to stretch that line. It isn't fully constrained. We can probably establish some sort of relationship with that. But because of the way it is right now, it's not fully constrained. We probably put a dimension on that and get that fully defined. If we went ahead and rebuilt this, you'll notice that sketch now is underdefined. Right-click on that sketch. Let's go ahead and redefine that. If we put a dimension on that line, it'll redefine itself. And you notice that that line turned orange initially because we pre-selected it. We put our mouse over it, but we didn't click on it. And right now, because it is selected, that line is yet a fourth different color, and that color is a light blue line. Actually, a fifth different color. So we have black, we have blue, we have orange, a pre-selected line, a pink line showing us our sketch relationships, and now a selected line which is light blue. So you need to know all 5 of those line colors. But we can put a dimension on that. Let's put a dimension of 2. And you notice that black dot turned, or that blue dot turned black. And now the sketch is fully defined. We don't have to rebuild it to know it's fully defined. It'll automatically show us that. Something else to show you here too is a construction line. A construction line is allowed to have some sort of flexibility to it. If it's a blue line, it'll show us that it is an underdefined sketch again. But if we constrain one of these lines, or the end of that line, so that the line is black, or maybe make this line maybe collinear with that line by establishing that sketch relation. This line is black, but both endpoints are blue. If we rebuild that, it goes back to a fully defined sketch. So construction lines give you a little bit of flexibility. You can have endpoints that are flexible, that can be moved around. The endpoints of a regular sketch line cannot be moved, or should not move if you want a fully defined sketch. So I think that's about enough for this video. Thank you for joining me. We'll see you in other videos.